So, good evening, everyone, and welcome to our usual leadership training. If you can put your cameras on, that'd be great because it's good to see all the faces connected and to see that you're not watching something else while you've got your camera off, that you are actually paying attention because that's what leadership's all about. So, yeah, switch your cameras on if you're able to, please. Okay, so what we're doing today, we're actually going to introduce the first chapter of Slight Edge, and Jill is going to be sharing that with us. The reason why we're having it today is because we had a long session with Tom on Saturday, which overran a bit, so we're actually putting that on today, and we're going to carry on with Slight Edge on Saturday as well. I hope you're beginning to read the book because it's a really, really good book, and I've read it several times, and it's made a massive difference to my mindset. So I'm hoping as we go through it, you'll actually pick up ideas and things that will change the way you do things. So over to Jill. Are you unlocked, Jill? Yes, I think you are. Yes, you are. Okay.
Yes. Okay. Right. So this is the book that I'm going to be starting to talk about. What I'm going to present is not a substitute for reading the book. I'm just planning to bring out some highlights and maybe in the context of our business. It's available as a free PDF from multiple places on the internet. If you search on Google, there are many different editions, and I've mostly used this one that I found from the internet. I noticed recently that between the editions, what material is in which chapter changes slightly. So I'm going to be talking about chapter 1 in this particular book, but other editions it's chapter 2 but I don't think that matters. So the Slight Edge, turning simple disciplines into massive success. So in terms of the whole book, what he's talking about is a slight edge. And what he's saying is that the difference between success and failure is just a relatively slight difference in how well and how consistently you do things. So it's not about you have to be a superstar, you have to have studied this for years and years and years to be a success. You can change your degree of success by just concentrating on small things that give you a slight edge. And that's a really optimistic point of view for well, when I came into this nearly 5 months ago now, I thought, how on earth am I ever going to even manage to share Hyperfund in a way that anyone can hear me, even though I'm saying it. They're just not hearing me. So since then, I've been gradually improving. Nothing dramatic, but it does make a difference, and it's nowhere near as impossible as I really thought it was when I first started. Okay, so the book says it's about turning simple disciplines into massive success. So just start off with a question, and feel free to shout out an answer. what would success in this business, what does success in this business look like to you? What are you aiming for? And everyone's on mute, aren't they? So it doesn't matter. Just jot it down. But I guess it's things like financial freedom, a passive income, a big house with a swimming pool, being able to live in nice places in the world, some sort of car with a particular specification. Lots of things we can think of as success. So now we get to chapter 1, and what that's saying is that your philosophy is the secret ingredient that allows you to have the slight edge that leads to success. So we will talk about that a bit more. And indeed, it suggests that it's your philosophy that creates your attitude, and through that your actions and your results, and therefore it creates your life, your future life going forward. So having a suitable philosophy is extremely important. It's the starting point, and we'll explore possible philosophies as we go on. And this is perhaps the same slide, just put in a different way. Your philosophy is your view of life, and it's beyond your feelings and your attitudes. It's the thing that drives your attitudes and feelings, and it's those that drive your actions, especially in terms of keeping going. So philosophy is important. So here's a light bulb moment from what I read in the first chapter, which is that most people's philosophy for success is that they're looking for and expecting that they'll find the answer, they'll have a breakthrough, and there'll be this amazing quantum leap, and so that all of a sudden they're successful, whereas previously they weren't successful. But actually it isn't like that, and successes don't happen through quantum leaps, they happen through the slight edge. And yeah, that makes sense to me, because it's sort of a bit far-fetched to think that suddenly I will have an idea or start to do something differently, and immediately it's going to make the difference. Though actually maybe finding hyperfund was a quantum leap. So one way of expressing the slight edge philosophy is that little steps compounded make a difference. So on the 5 a.m. we were listening to The Compound Effect, famous book. I think it's the second time round since I started the 5 a.m., which is saying exactly the same thing. In that case, it's saying more about create habits that will help you and make them into habits so that you keep doing them. And so the things you do every day that don't look dramatic and they don't look like they matter, well, they really do matter. That is what matters, and they are the difference. So yeah, it's not anything dramatic. So that's good. It means it's more attainable. But it also means that in order to get to success, I'm going to have to keep on doing the things that work. And then the other way of expressing some of that is that it's not that lack of success is because what we're doing is wrong. It's that we don't keep doing them. So it's not rocket science, but it's also so profound that it's hard to think that to get just how powerful this stuff is. So we need to keep on doing the actions. What does that look like in our business? This was my attempt to show what the actions are in our business for another thing that I was doing on the Saturday morning training. So we need to generate leads, which means that we make lists. Our warm list, the people we already know. Our cold list, the people we don't know yet. Maybe we find them on social media, LinkedIn, etc. And then we have to contact them, which means greeting them, qualifying them, trying to find out if what we have to offer is what they need, whether what they have to offer is what we need. And then if so, we invite them. And in our case, we invite them to see a presentation, either a live presentation on Zoom or one of the videos. And after that, we bring them on board, three-way call with our upline, and then we get them to sign up for a membership in Hyperfund. We get them to fund their account. We show them how to do all that. And then we introduce them to the training that's available so that they learn to do the business. And all the time we are following exactly the same process, doing the same actions. This morning on the 5 a.m., Boris showed a short video by Tim Sales, who provides quite a lot of the training we've been looking at on the 5 a.m. training, about network marketing, which is closely related to what we're doing, but not quite the same. And he was showing the network marketing pipeline, and it's very similar, but not quite the same. So find your leads, contact your leads, make an appointment with them so you can show them or give them a presentation, and then follow up with them to find out what they thought and turn them into a customer. So it's all the same. It's all pretty simple steps. It's not like you need a degree or anything. It's not like you need to be really clever to do this stuff. It's more about here are the things that work. Just keep doing them. So let's look at some example philosophies, and this was one that I liked, which was given as an example in chapter 1 from the founder of IBM. The formula for success is quite simple: double your rate of failure. It made me think a little bit. And why is that? Well, we need to be open to learning, to doing all of those action steps a little bit better, because that's what will give us a slight edge. And we need to keep on doing them, which also gives us a slight edge. And the more often we fail, the more we learn, because we learn from failure. And also, our business is a numbers game. The more people you contact and invite, the more people you will sign up, even though quite a lot of them, when you aren't very good at doing it yet, will say no. But as we get better, a higher proportion will say yes rather than no. So double your rate of failure is actually quite a good philosophy. Here are a few more that he suggests, because although I think what he's saying is just keep doing the steps is the main philosophy. You need to put it in your own words. So success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. So you have to keep doing it to progress. Successful people do what unsuccessful people are not willing to do, including to keep on doing it. And there's a natural progression in life. You have to plant and cultivate in order to harvest. So you have to do the steps. So here's a summary. The philosophy is the missing ingredient you need for all of the personal development books and how-to books and everything else that you'll find about how to make things a success to work. And basically it's just keep doing the steps that work. So I will stop sharing.
Thank you, Jill. That was really, really good. It certainly opens your mind up. Could you just put back the first slide of the different steps? You know, the Tim Sales. Well, not the second pipeline, but the second pipeline. Could you just put that back up, please? I just want to explain how easy this really is, and it's not as difficult as we think. Not that one, the one above. Yeah,
That one.
that's it. That one. Yeah, brilliant. Thank you.
Oh, it's sorry, it's gone to the wrong one.
It's all right.
Okay. Try again.
We've got another speaker today as well, so I'll go through this quite quickly. Keeps going back.
I don't know how to go back. That's the thing. So
okay, just put it on it without bringing it up large. Yeah. That'd be fine. It's probably not very difficult, but yeah, don't worry.
Yeah.
Did you put from? I think did you put from current slide? You did, didn't you?
Yeah. If
Yeah.
I do it,
Okay. Don't worry. Don't worry. Okay. Don't worry. We got that. It's just I wanted to use that as a guide, really. Okay. So yeah, I was just going to say, right. I came into this industry back in the 90s, and one of the things I remember happening with the first company I worked in, that was Amway, and that was before the internet came. There was a young man, he really impressed me. He was a PT instructor in the army, and he joined Amway at a very, very early age, and he rapidly moved to success. And one of the things he did that everyone else didn't do, he didn't have the skill sets needed. He didn't know what he needed to do. He was starting from scratch. He just literally did almost like a soldier would, did everything that he was told to do. And I suppose sometimes that's something that we tend not to do. We all think we've got our own brains. We think in a certain way, and inevitably, I mean, I've done it as well. We think our way's better than anyone else's way, and nobody knows our friends. Our friends are different from everyone else's friends, and so therefore they're going to react differently. But it's not that they're going to react differently. What it is we have these preconceived ideas of how we think they react because we would react that way. And sometimes that stops us contacting people because we feel the way we feel that they're going to react, if that makes sense. So I haven't actually left my warm list. I'm still on my warm list. And I've still got some people I want to contact who I haven't got through to. But I'm gradually doing it. I mean, this week I've signed up 2 or 3 people who actually I haven't talked to for in years. And again, it's just really getting to grips with what you're trying to do. You're trying to understand where people are falling short in their lives. And at the moment, we're very fortunate. We're very, very fortunate because there's a lot of people out there that are struggling in many different ways. They don't tell you that, and they won't tell you that straight up front. You've got to actually talk to them so that they feel more comfortable in your presence to tell you where they are. And I'm afraid that's the way this is. There is no shortcut. And the ones who think there is a shortcut, well, that's why you're getting a lot of no's, because you're going in too fast, too hard, and you're just scaring people off. And it's that thing that I talk about all the time. You go and feed the ducks at a pond, you throw a few crumbs and they'll come to you, but you throw a whole loaf and you'll knock a few out and maybe kill a few. So you're doing that all the time when you're actually contacting people. I know it's a little bit of a funny way of presenting it, but that's what we do. And the other thing also is, and this is a fact, and I've been in this industry for 25, 30 years, we actually go and try and present every single time. I know this presentation in and inside out. I know the company inside out, but I still don't present. Now I've got my gym, which I've just started recently, only a few weeks back. And I spoke to the gym owner today, and I said, my personal trainer, and I said, how's things going? And he said, oh, it's all right. It's not too bad. And I said, so you're doing better than last year? He said, no, we're not doing better than last year yet. Okay, that's interesting. So then I just said to him, well, if you had a way of passively making an income that would actually boost what you've got coming in now, would it be of interest to you? And he said, yeah, it would. Guess what? I've got a booking with him for Saturday, 11 o'clock, Zoom call. Have I told him anything? No. Have I tried to say anything? No. Have I said it's Bitcoin or blockchain or no? I haven't told him anything. He came back to me after we'd made the date. He came back to me on Messenger and said, Derek, you sure you're going to be, that it's definite, yeah, because I really want to see what this is about. So he's actually hungry for whatever information I'm going to give him. And the point is that the less you say, the more you'll have results. And the more intelligent we are, the worse this is, because we think we know it all. We think we can tell people the whole presentation, they'll understand it, and they'll be on board. But the thing is, less is more, and it's always going to be the case, and this is so important. So what we do is we greet, we qualify, we invite them. I actually do now what I call a presentation, if you like. And the reason for that is because I want them to say yes before they even see the presentation. If you set it up so somebody says yes before they see the presentation, they're actually looking forward to see the presentation, because it's now going to give them the full picture. So if I do a presentation where I show them what I've achieved, I'll only tell. Today we had a presentation with Suresh, and there was me and Nicholas. Nicholas was in Nicaragua. He arrived about 8 hours ago, and he was on the presentation. And we told our stories. So Nicholas started off. He told his story, how he met me, and then how he joined Hyperfund, and how he ended up selling his house and putting all that money into Hyperfund, and now how he's earning, 2,000. Whoops, I shouldn't say that in this because it's being recorded. How he's earning 10 times what he was earning as an engineer. And the thing is, to actually be able to tell that story, then follow up with me telling my story, how in 12 weeks I was actually replaced my income, doubled my income, in fact. And again, 10 times more than what I was earning as a chef before. To be able to do that in 5 months is absolutely amazing. And the thing is, this is open to everyone. We're all on an equal footing. We're all on an equal playing field. There's no difference between any of us other than the actions we do. And what Jill said today was exactly what this book about. How many of you have actually started reading the book? Because if you had, you would have started doing some of it, because there are some things in there that sort of qualifies you to start doing things. So it's about doing the little things. The only difference between anybody who's successful and anybody who is not yet there is either time, so your success is coming, or you actually haven't done enough of the right things. And in there, Jill was talking about, unsuccessful. How many times have you been unsuccessful? Okay, maybe you need to be unsuccessful more times to become successful. I know it hurts. And the thing is, the only way to become hardened to it is to do it more. I don't know how many no's I've had since the very beginning. I don't have that many nowadays, but in the beginning, I had a lot of no's to get the first few people. The 12 people I got in, I must have got about 100 no's. And that's saying something, because I didn't fully understand how this worked. I was actually doing, even then, even though I knew I shouldn't, I was doing the presentation in my own words. And then I started doing the things I should be doing, and lots of it. And then things started, moving in the right direction. So guys, work towards speaking to people at length, work towards finding out what they really want, and don't take the first thing they say as the answer, because, people don't like being very open, and particularly in England, we're good at that. We're, stiff upper lip and all that. We're good at not telling people what we feel. We go to the doctor and the doctor says, "How are you?" And you say, "Oh, I'm great, thanks." Why did you go to the doctor if you're great? And I go to the doctor and the doctor asks me, "How are you?" I said, "I'm not well, I'm feeling horrible." That's why I'm there. So why do we say we're great, or feel all right, or okay, or everything's all right? Say what you feel, be more open. So encourage people to be open with you. And by doing that, you'll get the bullets, the magic bullets, I call them, to shoot back at them. And it's not a nasty way of putting it, because what you're doing is helping people. Remember, what we're doing in this business with opportunities, helping people change their lives drastically. Nicholas is fully retired now and has actually achieved his first goal of being in Nicaragua with his wife and his wife's family, which he didn't see happening for 20 to 30 years. He's done that in 5 months, for goodness sake. That's absolutely fantastic what this opportunity offers people. And I know a lot of you are going to have things change in your lives this year, before even Christmas. Things are going to change quite dramatically. And some of you have noticed it already with the things that are happening below you. So it's there for the taking. We just need to do a little bit every day, and not just, do it when we feel like it. Because if you want freedom, I always say this, freedom isn't free, it needs effort. And then if you put a little bit of effort in, then, where you go. We will stop for questions and answers. So I'm looking at the time now. So the next speaker is somebody I've got to know only recently, really. And what's really interesting, again, going back to serendipity and everything else, and how things happen. I met this gentleman recently, and then we got talking. I found out that he actually was involved in the hospitality industry like me. He's also been a pub landlord like me. He had a jewelry shop as well, like me. It's amazing how many things are happening there. So we only discovered recently where he went to school. He went to school, primary school. I was in Henley, and I was in school in Henley as well at the same time, more or less. I mean, how much more of a coincidence can you get than that? So we know we were going through the pubs in Henley that we went to and we knew and all that. I forgot to mention, actually, Ross, there was a little pub down the side road that we used to go to, and there was a little old lady that ran it. I've forgotten what the name, the Angel, I think it was. I forget.
Right.
But we used to go in there, and we were underage, obviously, at school. We were in about 16, 17 at the time. And
Of course.
the landlady used to let us out under the desk and out of her back door, and we used to run back to school along the riverbank there. So it's quite an interesting place. Do you remember the cinema there, by the way, with the big organ? That was an amazing thing, wasn't it? With a massive, massive organ. Right. So yeah, so Ross and I only met recently, but we've got a lot in common. We've lived in similar places, been to similar places, had similar jobs and careers. So I'd like to pass you over to Ross, who's actually going to give us the first part, if you like, of our leadership training, which we were supposed to do today, but we were doing the slight edge, which we'll carry on Saturday. But we are actually going to be more involved on the leadership side of things. And when I say leadership, you're not running big teams. You know, some of you might have only sponsored one person and you're a leader suddenly, because you've got to be an example to that person. You've got to help that person. You said to that person that if you join Hyperfund, your dreams will come true. So therefore, you know, make it happen for them. And that's what it's all about, helping people achieve their goals. And in achieving their goals, you will by default get yours. So just help enough people reach where they want in life, and then you will reach yours as well, you know, by default. So over to you, Ross.
Thank you very much, Derek. That's a very nice introduction. Good evening, everybody. My name's Ross, Ross Bissett, for those who don't know me. I'm delighted to be given the chance by Derek to run a small part of the meeting. I really like Derek's story. It really has been inspiration to me. The first time I heard him speak about what he's gone through with his 60-hour weeks and all the ups and downs that he's had, and it's really very, very motivating. So it's good. He's asked me to talk about leadership, or my definition of leadership, and everybody may have a different definition. So if you can all think of a word that might be your definition of leadership, that would be really good. Now, I first joined this group on the 3rd of September, nearly 2 months ago now, after having to close my jewelry shop in Margate because of COVID, where my rent turned out to be more than the amount of jewelry I was selling. So it made little sense to keep it open. I used to be a financial advisor, and I thought, well, I better get back into that. And I was in the middle of all my exams to requalify, and I'm still going through them all. Boris gave me a call, and I've known Boris for at least 10 years and have a great deal of respect for him, for his leadership and his honesty. And I said to Boris, if you've done the due diligence, I'm in, and here I am. I'm also a qualified clinical hypnotherapist. As well as dealing with people's fears and phobias, fear of flying, spiders, everything like that, I'm also proud to have helped over 300 people to stop smoking. And I'll be phoning them all up very shortly to say, all this money you're saving, not smoking, do you know where you'd like to put it? I might have an idea for you. I've always had a great affinity for relationship marketing, and I was first introduced in the 1980s to a company called La Rome, which used to do sort of perfumes resembling famous brands. 1980s, that's 40 years ago. Am I really that old? Yeah, I suppose I am. And then I went on to NSA, which I think Jill did as well. And then it was Dorling Kindersley Family Library, which I really enjoyed. And then I worked with Visalis, a protein shake from America. And I built a team of nearly 1,000 people, which I was very proud of. However, I have never in my life been part of a more positive, friendly and supportive and caring group of people that we all are in this group. It's just fabulous, especially the 5 o'clock group, which is just wonderful. We are all from all around the world, from different cultures and situations. We're all unique, and you're all truly, truly special. But we're brought together by a common bond, which is Hyperfund. It's how human beings really should be together, working together as one to help other human beings. And I just love that. Leadership can seem to be a bit daunting or scary. In fact, many leaders can be daunting or scary. I mean, the greatest leaders in history have been not necessarily very nice or even kind, but they could inspire people with their speeches, and people believed in them and followed them often to their deaths. But so on a cheerier note, what word would you best describe? What would best describe leadership to you? If you want to put it in the old chat box, just one word, that'd be fab. So I know you guys have all got lots and lots of experience. Just think of one word that would describe leadership to you and stick it in the chat box. That would be super. Thank you. Excellent. Excellent. Thank you, Jill. Yeah. Excellent. It doesn't matter if 2 of you say the same thing or 3 of you. It's these are all great. Thank you. Thank you. That's super. Keep it coming, guys. There's 18 of them. Got a load more to come yet. But just stick out there. Whatever you think, whatever comes into your mind. That's super. That's brilliant. That's it. Keep going. Now, again, if anyone, you're all fairly, you're reasonably experienced people, a lot of you on this call, so I don't want to be teaching any other people to suck eggs, but this is great stuff. I love to hear what you think, what inspires you. Great. In fact, every single word you've put up there is absolutely true. Leadership can mean so many different things. And I don't think any of us would disagree with any of the explanations that people have put up there. So it means an awful lot. And to be a good leader, it means encapsulating all those things on a day-to-day basis. So that's tremendous. Now, super for that, guys. Thank you very much. Here's a quick reminder. Christmas is coming. And we're all going to have to get ready for Christmas soon. And Boris has asked us to give £100 to 10 families that could really use the money for Christmas, especially people with kids. And we all know how expensive Christmas could be. So Boris actually gives us £1,000 each. So it can be £1,000, $1,000, whatever value that is in the nationality you deal in. Because Christmas is coming. And so we need to speak to people, ask them questions, and if they qualify, we give them £100. Great. I know we would all relish the idea of helping people in this way, especially people with kids at Christmas. And it wouldn't take long for any of us to get through 10 people and qualify 10 people pretty quickly, in fact, because we've got these £100 to give out. Well, we already have in our hands the power to give families who qualify considerably more than £100 or even £1,000. It could change their lives forever. Give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach him how to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. And he'll get a boat, a 6-pack, a fishing rod, and you won't see him again. But leadership is simply inspiring them to do what we do. We are go-givers. We're servant-driven leadership, as I once called it. Finding people who qualify, introducing them to the system, supporting them to independence. This is nearly exactly what Derek has just said. So they do what we do. And the whole process duplicates. In this business, I believe true leadership is duplication. We all know the magic of the compound effect. 2 people become 4 people, become 8 people, become 16, 32, and then it builds a life of its own and it starts building. It's not one person building a team of 1,000. It could be 10 people building a team of 100. It could be 100 people building a team of 10. It doesn't matter. Leaders duplicate by inspiring other people to do what they do. Now, I live in Ramsgate in Kent on the east coast of England. And I'm very lucky. We've got it's a nice seaside town, sandy beaches, nice places of interest, historical places. I'm even luckier because everybody in Ramsgate walks around with yellow post-it notes on their forehead. Well, not everybody, just say 2 or 3 out of 10 people. And these post-it notes are on people's forehead, and I go up to them. It says, ask me on there. I don't know if you can read that, but it says, ask me. Well, I go up to them and say, hi, I'm Ross, what's your name? And then I ask them the questions and they say, I'm interested to know more. Great. Can you watch a live Zoom call tonight at 6:30? Yes. What's it all about? Well, if I tried to explain, it's like giving you 3 parts of a 1,000-piece jigsaw. And it just doesn't work. I'd rather you went on the Zoom at 6:30, as you said you can, and see the whole 1,000-piece jigsaw yourself. It's all on it. Does that sound good? Okay, great. Of course, I only imagine the yellow post-it notes, but I ask them anyway. As Derek says, freedom's not free, it takes work. Work means don't keep this fantastic business a secret. Share it, because not only Christmas is going to be expensive for many, many people, so will the years ahead for millions of people. There's some pretty tricky times ahead, I'm fairly sure. They need what we have. Go and share, become a leader, and find freedom for life. L-I-F-E, live in freedom every day. Thank you.
Thank you, Ross. That was brilliant, a brilliant share
Thank you.
there. I enjoyed that. It was really, really good. It's good to see
Thank
how
you.
your take on it. And guys, what I'm going to do now is stop the recording and open up for any questions and answers. And that's on anything really, anything that you need help with, anything that's going well for you, anything really that you want to talk about. The whole point about this, by the way, guys, understand this. Being on video is getting you to get your confidence up. Talking on video is getting you to get your confidence and ability to talk to people up. So the whole point about this is to really help you, that we don't do this just for the fun of it. The idea is actually to help you help yourself. And that's the whole point. You know, when I first got on video at the beginning of this year, I think it was, I was petrified. I just didn't like myself. I didn't like looking at myself. I didn't like the sound of my own voice. I didn't like anything. And it took a lot of talks, positive self-talks to myself to actually get, to get there. And it was very, very, very difficult. So, I didn't suddenly just appear on this stage and then suddenly start talking. I required to learn about things. I required to get knowledge into my head so I can feed that knowledge to other people. And then by doing things, it's a lot easier to talk to people about things you've succeeded in and things you're succeeding in. And the only reason, like I said, most of us are succeeding, Nicholas, myself, Boris, Jill, and others here, is because we're talking to more and more people. The only difference is time and number of people we've spoken to. That's it, really. It's like Ross said, you just say hi, and then you say, and then you start a discussion. I went into the coffee shop yesterday to have breakfast after gym. The lady behind the counter looked quite frazzled, and I said, "God, you're busy, aren't you?" And she said, "Yes, we are very busy today." And I said, "Okay, well, I won't talk to you too long then. I was just wondering if you wanted to have a chat about something I had in mind. I was wanting you to look at for me." And that's it. I left it at that. So she served me breakfast, and then I think some of her staff came in. I do know her because she was a chef that worked with me a few years ago. Now she owns her own cafe, and then later on she came to the table and she says, "What was it you were gonna show me?" And I said, "Interesting question, actually, but I haven't got time now. I've got to go. But I tell you what, if you meet me on a Zoom call later on, I'll let you know what it's all about." Did I say anything about anything? No. Yeah, okay, Derek. What time? I know. Well, I said to her, "What time's convenient? What time do you finish?" She said, "I finish at 12." I said, "Okay, 2 o'clock. Let's meet on a Zoom. I'll send you the link through WhatsApp." That was it. Why do we have to make these complicated conversations that we get all tongue-tied and twisted in? And then we end up trying to explain something that we don't fully understand ourselves. And then we try and do a presentation there and there. And then the person says, "Oh, no, that sounds a bit dodgy to me. That sounds like a scam. That sounds like whatever," because of the way it's being delivered. If you don't deliver it with the importance that it requires, you're going to get people saying it's a scam, it's something dodgy, it's something weird. You need to do it in an appropriate way, but the main thing is to have a conversation with people. I had another thing. I had an Amazon guy today come and deliver some stuff. I've got a new camera which I'm taking away with me, and he came in. He said, "That's a small parcel for you," because normally he delivers quite big parcels for my wife. She gets all kinds of things that she tries. I don't usually do online deliveries. Anyway, he's a regular guy, so I said, "Yeah, it's a small one, but it's a lot of money." I said, "You're carrying there." And he said, "What is it?" I said, "It's a camera. I'm going to Dubai." Dubai? He said, "Why are you going there?" He said, "Well, I've been selected to go for a leadership conference, but yeah, no, I'm going to have a bit of a holiday." "Have you ever been to Dubai?" He said, "No, but I'd love to." "Really? Would you love to?" "Okay. Well, if I showed you a way to qualify to go to Dubai, would you be interested?" And that was it. And he's now booked a presentation with me later this week. I'm just telling you, I'm booking them all the time because I'm speaking. How many of you are speaking to 3, 5, 10 people a day? This is the point I'm trying to make. So I'm going to stop the recording now, and then I'm going to open up for